Hello there. I'm back again, up here on Mount Tabor again, this time over by the reservoirs. Yeah, it looks like a castle, but it's not. I wanted to discuss AI, and I came across some, and Prog, basically. I came across some progressive rock or prog rock music generated by AI in the last few days, and since I made my album partially to show what an all-human thing will do, in fact, I'm the only musician on the album except for 3 notes done by my partner. I came across this AI, and there was a song called Golden Conch I listened to, and it very much highlighted the limitations, the limitations of AI, in that really it didn't have a lot of flow to it. There was a sort of stiffness that you would expect from AI, that's something that's algorithmically created, and that's sort of filling out the assignment, like telling the AI agents to create music sort of like Camel or Canterbury Scene type stuff. And so there's lutes and acoustic guitars and other things going on, but it didn't have any particular flow to it. It's that ability to do transitions. Now, AI is going to get better at that. So really what AI is good at is doing competent things. That just like photography, when it moved over to digital, it became much easier to be a competent photographer. And AI is going to make music become and competent styles of music, especially already well-defined styles, easy to ape and codify, because the formula is there. So you train the model on something, and I'm not going to even go into the specific model that created Golden Conch. It just wasn't satisfying. Good enough for maybe background music on an infomercial or an office informative video, training video, but not good enough to get people to pay money for. And but I bet you'll start hearing stuff like this in the background at office work and whatnot. It's going to, this sort of just competent level of things is going to be taken over by algorithms and other stuff. And musicians have kind of brought this on themselves. The music has become more and more algorithmic even before AI came out, which is why I did my album, where it's constantly shifting. It's completely flow based because it's all first takes, it's all improvised, and nobody's going to train a model on me because I'm a weird avant-garde musician, and really my music's only going to appeal to a certain small set of people. It's really designed to satisfy me and people who want something as challenging as I want to have as well for myself. So thoughts about this. It's really up to us and our tastes to outgrow the simplification that's been going on in music for the last 30, actually since the beginning of rock and roll and other things too. And honestly, these things have come and gone over the years. Music used to be the province of princes and potentates who could afford to commission to have a string quartet or a chamber orchestra play music for them at their events and such. It was only when you started getting player pianos and Victrolas and other things that, and actually pianos in people's houses. It probably started the Victorian era. The piano is the most Victorian of instruments, and it sort of, sheet music became available that people could go and play. Well, now with AI, it's going to be even more of that. Is there this sense of ownership? Another thing that the AI very much lacks is that constant sense of readjustment. So as the producer and as the recording engineer of my album, I was constantly adjusting things, reappraising things, saying, no, it needs some of this. No, that didn't work. I thought I wanted this, but it's going in this other direction. This sort of sense of flow and direction that the music will have, that's something that really a human being is going to do. AI will get there, because human beings are tool creators, and we will create tools that are just as good, if not better, than ourselves at doing things. Just like a machine can sew a buttonhole better than a human being can. Yes, you can pay extra money and have a human being do it, but actually the machine will do it better, to higher tolerances. The difference is that music can be the exploration of the way things don't fit and do fit. You're losing form and finding form again. You're taking something that's idiomatic and isolated and coordinating with other things. That's why we find music interesting. It's pattern development, and it helps build brain cells and everything else. So, where am I going with this? Well, listening to the Golden Conch, it's not there yet, but it's certainly good enough to replace a lot of incredibly adequate music. Is it there to make us go, oh, what is that? And spark a whole series of other things. There have been, music sparked, and jazz and bebop sparked things like abstract expressionism in art, which sparked a bunch of other things, which changed design philosophies and other stuff. Our approach to science, once again, it feeds all back in, which leads to different discoveries and polymers and other things which change our lives. What AI does has a discrete solution that it's looking to solve. The difference for human beings who create things is we're not always looking for a solution. We're just like, well, what is this? And then later we find out a use for it. And sometimes it changes our world and our lives, for better or worse. But it's that adaptability that's built into it. AI is also going to be good at finding certain things that we don't expect either. But the taste that we have as human beings is what we can exercise. That taste and that hunger for something new and interesting that challenges us, that will make it so that human created music is always going to be one level above. Something to chew on, but at the same time, remember, the machines will get consciousness eventually. And we don't really treat human beings that well who make art and music and other things and make food and whatnot. Human beings tend to exploit other human beings. And that's kind of what needs to shift, is like the value of something like a human's activity needs to change for us to appreciate what we do. It's sort of like the agriturismos or artisan cheeses and wines and olive oil in Italy. Italy is a good place to think about for where are we heading, because yes, there's quicker ways to make food, but the old way has value in and of itself as well. And innovations and traditions. And sometimes you find new ways through the old ways that are kept in legacy. Something to think about.